Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Akim. So for those who are new to the channel, I really want to thank you guys for really subscribing to the account. So far, we are at 44 subscribers, and that's really nice and encouraging. Anyway, in today's video though, we're going to be talking about what self-discipline is, why we usually lack self-discipline, and the keys for self-discipline. So without any further ado, let's just dive right into the video. By the way, I've got some timestamps linked in the description below, so if you don't feel like watching the whole video, you can just skip to whatever part of the video you like the most. So what is self-discipline? So, self discipline is a constant awareness of the need to take action paired with the act of implementing the action. So, with that is a constant awareness of the need to brush your teeth, and then you go immediately and implement the act of brushing your teeth. But having the constant awareness of the need to take an action, and then you pair it with the act, really takes a great deal of self control. You have to be able to control your emotions, your feelings, your behavior, your thoughts, and your actions. But then, why do a lot of people really lack this self-control? One, sometimes it's just laziness. Sometimes you feel like you don't want to do anything. You feel like you're emotionally, physically, or psychically just broken down, and you don't feel like doing anything. There are those times when I feel like, I just want to watch videos the whole day, and just talk to my friends without doing any work. Sometimes it's just like that. Because, we really face a lot of problems, where we go, a lot of demotivation and all that sort of stuff. So sometimes it's just laziness. The other thing is the fear of failure. So the fear of failure keeps us from taking on initiative on whatever we want to do. So most of the time, if you want to start something, and then you have the fear of failure at the back of your mind, it will prohibit you from starting whatever you want to start. So usually, when you initiate something, always what you're doing, you're moving towards your goals. But if you don't have the ability to initiate something or start up something, you won't move towards your goals. And so that means it derails your self-discipline. You won't have control over yourself that, okay, let me start, this gym class, let me start, this YouTube channel, let me start whatever you want to start. The other one is that self-discipline is not something inborn. A lot of people think that someone is just hardly wired to be self-disciplined and hardworking. Yes, there's some people who are hardly wired in their genetics to be very hardworking, but being hardworking is totally different from being self-disciplined. Really, those are two different entities and two different phenomena. So the other one is the environment we live in. So our environment, one, really determines a lot of who we become and what we think about, all the most of the time. So if you're living around people who are very negative, very discouraging and very ridiculing, what happens is that, by living with these kinds of people, they tend to really enter into your skin and they make you part of the problem. So what you're supposed to do is really just get rid of these people because, over time, they really affect your behavior, and your behavior, goes all along or a long way to your discipline. So the other thing about the environment is that we live in a world of distraction. So it's just like you want to start reading your books, but then you're interrupted by messages from your friends. You just want to doom scroll through Instagram or check some Facebook posts or anything like that. So the other thing is that our mental thinking or our emotional thinking or generally our mindset or personal philosophy. So the way we think really goes a long way in defining the way we behave, because anything you're going to start or anything you're just brought to or anything you're introduced to is first taken through the sieve of your mindset. If your mindset allows, okay, this is a nice thing, then you'll take action on that. If someone tells you, okay, let's start up a YouTube channel, your mind will just check up what it knows about YouTube, and if it doesn't really just kind of like relate to what you think is correct, then you might discard it, or you might say, okay, this is just crap, a YouTube channel and stuff. But then if you really have a right mindset about anything you're doing, guess what? The world manifests itself in the right way. And so this helps you to really just take decisions in your behavior that are really, really very important. And that really just comes down to, your self-discipline. Because your self-discipline are the decisions you take, between your need to take action and the implementation of the action. So the other thing is that people are living a purposeless life. So the fact that you don't have a goal when you're maybe studying or you're in a business or anything like that, that really just keeps you in a clouded state of what you really want. A lot of people used to ask me, like, why do you wake up at 4 or 3 a.m. in the morning? And I'm like, if you are going where I'm going, you would have been waking up a little more earlier, or even you would have been also waking up at 4. So I think, having a goal-oriented life also helps, to shape up your self-discipline in one way. The other thing, what are the keys of self-discipline? One, we should start with the smallest of disciplines. This is something that a lot of people really underestimate. This really helps you to feel better about yourself. And whenever you feel better about yourself, guess what happens? This improves your performance in whatever field or the smallest of disciplines you've started with. I'm telling you, you don't need to just read 1,000 books in order to start exercising. No, you don't. You just need to start with the smallest you can. You do some 5 push-ups. You just get a small book and read it. You just do the smallest of disciplines, and then the world will start offering you some other disciplines or some other new challenges. So the other one is motivating yourself. Well, a lot of people really have a lot of controversy on motivation, but in my opinion, I see motivation as some sort of bathing. So to me, motivation is like bathing, because when you bathe and then you move out there, you're gonna attract that to your skin, and of course, you have to bathe again. And so motivation is something that really helps, to kickstart our brains, to light up our brains, to start doing whatever we want to do. When you're motivated to do something, most of the time, you feel like you just want to dive in there and do everything. But then after some time, you are demotivated, because as we move in the world, there are a lot of people saying that you can't do it. You're ugly, you're this, you're that, and then all of these things really absorbed into our minds. They tend to really just fill us with all that, and then we have to bathe again. And so I think we have to keep on really motivating ourselves. And the thing is that you're not supposed to give another person chance to motivate you. Like, we are supposed to get self-motivation. The other thing is doing your best. So there's a question that says that, is the best you can do all you can do? And the answer to that is totally no. The best you can do is not all you can do. And the best example that is given here is that, take an example, if you're maybe doing some sort of push-ups, and maybe you have spent a kind of while without doing push-ups like this, and then the best you can do at the moment are only 5 push-ups. So if you do these 5 push-ups, and then maybe you take a bit of rest, and then you might find yourself doing some sort of like 15 or more, and then you take some rest, you can find yourself doing some 20 more. And so by virtue of doing this, doing your best, this really just takes you to a point of seeing larger opportunities which you can really encircle and take on more. So it really gives you the mentality that you can really take on more. The other thing is that, make rest a necessity rather than an objective. So when I'm saying that, okay, you take some rest, when maybe you're doing your best, it doesn't mean like to rest a lot, because when you rest a lot, the weeds start taking up the garden, as Jim Rohn says. And the other thing is that we're supposed to watch the people we live with and in our environment. So never underestimate the power of influence. In the book of the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene, he points out, I don't remember the exact law, but then he has a chapter and says, avoid the unlucky and unhappy. And in that chapter he says, never underestimate the power of influence, because people who are really unlucky, or let's say unhappy, of course there are people who are unlucky, but then they don't attract unhappiness to themselves. It's just how they are and how God created them. Those are really worth helping. But then there are people who really attract unhappiness to themselves. So he said that you're supposed to avoid such people, because what they do is that they enter into your skin. And of course we saw that one of the most effectors of our self-discipline is the people we live with, and this really affects the way we behave. So make sure you just get a good clue of friends, friends that really add a lot on you, and things like that. The other thing is that, make sure you watch on what you take in your mind. So whatever you take in your mind really has a large effect on you, and what you think and how you behave most of the time. Because just take an example. So if you had a cup of coffee, and then maybe someone came and maybe poured some sugar into your cup of coffee, and then and you take the coffee, you would feel nice, maybe, let's say. But then let's say another person came on and then poured a spoonful of poison inside your cup of coffee. Well, that might kill you, of course. It might lead to your death. But then it doesn't matter if your friend or your enemy is the one who poured the poison. It will still kill you. And so yeah, I think you have to be very cautious about your mind, because in this case your mind is like the cup of coffee. You have to really take care of who is pouring what in your mind. And the other one, and the last one I want to talk about here, is that make sure you set some goals for yourself. So by virtue of setting goals for yourself, like, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to get a good house, I want to have $1 million car, I want to have this and that. By virtue of setting those goals, they act as strange motivators. Actually, they're beyond motivation. There's a way they keep you going. They drive that, and they pair up that need to action and the implementation of action. And so they help to build your self-discipline way up there beyond where you can really believe. thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you really got something from the video. If you did, make sure you just hit the subscribe button and comment down in the comment section, and don't forget to smash the like button. As always, until next time.